off the atmosphere. Shift it with your faith now.
We choose to serve you, to follow where you lead, to be your witness, to be your hands and feet. We choose to serve. We choose to serve you, to follow where you lead, to be your witness, to be your hands and feet. We say yes. We say yes. My soul says yes. Whatever you have for me, whatever lies ahead. We say yes. My soul says yes. Whatever you have for me, whatever lies ahead. We say yes. We say yes. In every season, in every season, we can trust in you. For you are with us. Lord, you are always good. We say yes. We say yes. My soul says yes. Whatever you have for me, whatever lies ahead. We say yes. My soul says yes. Whatever you have for me, whatever lies ahead. We say yes. We say yes. We know that you are for us, not against us, not against us. We know that you are for us, not against us, not against us. We know that you are for us, not against us, not against us. We know that you are for us, not against us. We say yes. My soul says yes. Whatever you have for me, whatever lies ahead. We say yes. My soul says yes. Whatever you have for me, whatever lies ahead. We say yes. We say yes. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. My soul says yes. 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 We say yes to you, Lord. Hallelujah, yeah.
Hey guys, good evening and welcome to Elevate Church. We are so happy about tonight. I'm buzzing really. I'm looking forward to what I'm going to be speaking on in about 10 minutes or so. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you so much to all your giving and your support that that certainly Elim have had because of the situation we've got around the world, of course, the coronavirus. Elim Missions has been doing a fantastic work, and we've raised a bag full of money, but we could still do more. But just to give you a really short clip about what's been happening, please stay tuned and watch this. So your contributions have helped massively, and Elim has raised over £20,000 that has gone across countries all around the world, making a difference, helping people where they need it the most. We would love to continue to help and support that. So, of course, just then you would have seen an advert for finances. If you could give and support that, we would be blown away. Remember, our church is not just a standalone church. We are supported, we are encouraged by a much bigger worldwide denomination called Elim. And we're proud to be very much a part of that. And we're proud to see significant changes all around the world and to help and support others that are in need. So thank you once again for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. And we are truly blessed to be a part of who we are. So guys, tonight as we get into our topic, just so I know you're still awake, can you give me a thumbs up? Can you give me a like? Just so I know, it'll probably take about 10 seconds for me to see that. But just so I know that you're there, my topic for tonight, as we're continuing our Soundbite series, as you know, over the last few weeks, we've looked at, rhythm, keeping time. We've looked at I'm seeing all these hearts coming up, guys. Thank you so much. I'm seeing that over the last few weeks, I've spoke about rhythm, and I've spoke about how we make a difference within that, how we keep time. And I've spoken a little bit about the problems I have with hearing and what I can take out or tune into what is around me. And of course, we looked at our surroundings and how that makes a difference. Well, tonight I'm going to go one step further than that, continuing our series on sound bites, but it's time for a rest. I don't know about you, but sometimes we're clearly in lockdown. Now, you think, Pete, we've just gone through, 10, 12 weeks of rest. 10 to 12 weeks of enforced rest. And it's time to look at maybe what that rest is going to look like. Maybe some of us have been working during this time. And of course, there is no rest for parents. Parents have been teaching flat out. They've become not just parents, but they've become teachers. Teachers 9 to 5, and anyone can tell you it's been a bit of a stressful time. It's been a challenge grabbing the children, coming around the breakfast table and sitting there for a few hours a day. Well, maybe it's time for us to have a bit of a break. Maybe it's time for us to have a chill out. And tonight, I just want to incorporate the music scene as what we have been looking at over the last few weeks. And we've been looking at it going, wow, if we're looking at rhythm, if we're looking at time, listen, in musical notes, in musical dots and staves that there is something called a rest. Something called a rest. Now, as a drummer, I can remember someone saying to me, Pete, during this song, can you just stop? Can you stop at this moment and allow a chance for there to be a different style of music? I can remember feeling a bit pushed out by this and thinking, what? They don't want me. I'm not wanted right now as a drummer. How can they not want me as a drummer? And I can remember feeling quite isolated and pushed out. And everyone else didn't mean anything by it at all. But yet I decided to take that on the chin myself and to get offended by that. Really, all there was someone wanted to add a bit of color and a bit of flavor into where we are and who we are. Tonight, maybe, guys, God's saying it's time for a break. It's time to have a chill out. And it's time to do something. Take stock of where you are, because in this resting period, it's going to bring birth to something brand new. It's going to bring birth to something that is going to get you excited. Now, whenever there was a break for me on the drums, or whenever there was a break of, let's just say an enforced break, because other musicians were taking precedent over the drums. I don't know how that can be, but that was the case. So I was forced to pause. Now, in this forced to pause, I was twiddling my fingers, or in case, twiddling my sticks. Now, I wasn't really that fancy. I couldn't really do that too often because I used to drop a few of them. But never mind, I was continuing to go on this journey of what it was like to take a break. And then it was my time, my moment to come. And I used to get really excited about it and think, right, I've got to make a big impression. I'm coming back in. I've got to do something with this music. Man, if I got a bit excited knowing that it was my place to come in, knowing that it was my opportunity, knowing that it was the time that I was going to spring into a step, how easy it would have been for me to have missed the big intro that I was going to get, and just to muck it up. And maybe the timing would have been all out. Fortunately, I wasn't that bad all the time. But there were times that I got excited and I came in really loud on places that should have been quieter. And they should have been builds to something, but yet I was in my excitedness, I came in with a big bang or a big cymbal, a big crash, and everyone else just looked. Instead of, it was meant to be a nice place of worship, but everyone was holier than thou. And all of a sudden I come in with my size 12s, and I just jump in and smash a cymbal. Oh, just by the way, I clearly don't have size 12s. I'm only short. But here we are. We have a big crash and a big cymbal, a big loud bang, and all of a sudden we come in and make a big entrance, and it could all go really, really wrong. Well, tonight, guys, I want to be just looking at the rest. It is time for a rest, and rest in musical notes is this. A rest in a musical notation sign indicates the absence of sound. I can clarify for that. I can say yes, I can completely agree with this. The absence of sound normally means, Pete, be quiet, because the music needs to come down a bit. Pete, be quiet. It's not your time right now, but the time is you will come back in. Don't worry. Chill out. It's okay. Now, here the thing is, even though I take time out, the rhythm keeps on carrying on. Even though the music keeps on playing, even though the band keeps on playing, the people keep on singing, the rhythm continues, even though I've taken a step out of it. And guys, the challenge for this is, let's put this into a context for us today. The rhythm of life continues, whether we're in it, seeing it, doing the stuff that we do every single day or that we used to do every day. And we've had to take a step back. We're enforced to take a step out and to look at what everyone else is going on doing. Well, we can choose to look at what is being presented on the news. We can choose to look at what goes on in politics. We can choose to look at what goes on in Facebook. We can choose all of those things. But yet, I want to challenge us tonight. Listen, maybe the time, the enforced closure, the time for a rest, the break that we have, is the time that God's saying, and now is the time that you have had to get ready for maybe the challenge for what is to come. Every time in music that there is a note and a break, it is therefore an opportunity for others to be heard, for other voices to get louder, for there to be something different in the music, a different style, a different song, a different perspective that other people listen to. But what about tonight for us? Looking back, maybe you've taken a step out and a step back, and you're seeing life from a different perspective. So tonight I'm going to preach on three things. I'm going to be looking at three things tonight, and I'm going to go through these really quickly. I'm not going to hang on, but I just want to go through a few things. And this tonight I'm going to be speaking from Isaiah chapter 40. Isaiah chapter 40, and I'm going to be looking at verse 28 and going through to 31. Isaiah 40, verse 28 through to verse 31. I'm going to go through this. So it says this. Oh, just so you guys know, I'm reading from the ESV version. There is a reason for that. It's because there's a word that has been very strategically placed, and we're going to be putting on that in a moment. So it says this, starting at 28, have you not known, have you not heard, the Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might, he increases strength. Now, and to him who has no might, he increases strength. Even youths shall faint and grow weary, and young men shall fall exhausted. Verse 31. Here goes, guys. Verse 31. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Okay, there was 3 parts of that I'm going to be looking at tonight. There's 3 parts that we're going to be looking at. But they who wait, they who wait for the Lord. See, in the waiting room, there is things that are happening. In the waiting room, there are things that are going on behind the scenes that we don't see. In the waiting room, there is strength that is being given. In the waiting room, it is time to be energized like my goodness, like the Duracell bunny that keeps on going and going and going and always wants to have that top up because it lasts longer than anything else. But here goes. The stuff that God gives does never run out, but it just keeps on going. And every day when he just keeps on giving and giving and giving, there is an overflow every single time. And you get charged up. Your batteries get recharged. The energy levels that you have get charged. And you get ready to give out and to give to what God has for you. So tonight, I really want to be preaching from that verse in particular. Those who wait upon. Wow. Guys, waiting on and waiting upon God is something that maybe we can get frustrated with. I don't like waiting. We are in a culture whereby waiting is frustrating. We are in a culture where we want things now. We want things done yesterday. We're looking at things around the world that is faster. Man, broadband is getting faster. We want faster food. I couldn't believe that the very minute that restaurants or, let's say, fast food chains have started to open around the village where I'm living in, let's just say a food outlet that sells food such as chicken things, they have had queues that have gone around, out of the building, around the parking lot and out to the road and up towards a roundabout because people want to get their hands on fast food. Things have changed and they want it like yesterday. And being impatient is something that people get frustrated with. Wow. I don't know about you, but when we want things done like yesterday, things have changed. And the culture that we're in is, if you want it, have it. Don't worry about saving for it, stick it on a card. If you don't have to be in a culture whereby we have to scrimp and save, but yet we can buy it now. I'm saying tonight, guys, wait. Wait. The things that we may want in life, I'm saying tonight, God's saying, wait, because his timing is perfect. In the waiting room, there is a chance to grow. And in the waiting room, there is a chance to develop. In the waiting room, maybe it's developing your character. In the waiting room, it is developing your personality. And in the waiting room, we're getting a chance to do something that we would never normally do. We can grab a chair, we can chill out and relax. That is something which we don't do very often. So 3 points that I'm going to be looking at tonight is this. Point number 1. Point number 1. I am so excited. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. We shall mount up. We shall mount up on wings like eagles. The reason why I've paused is because of this. I was waiting for the screen to come up for you. And I wanted you to see this. Point number 1 is seeing life from a different perspective. It is not saying, in the Bible, it's not saying here that you're going to get a wings and you're going to go flying. It is not saying that. It is not saying that all of a sudden you're going to grow and spread. It's not saying that. It's saying that maybe now is the time that you can see life from a different perspective. In the waiting room, because we're not having things like yesterday, in the waiting room, things are developing and are growing, and you have an opportunity to see things from a different level, to see things from a different perspective. We seldom do we have opportunities where we can take time out and to reevaluate. Guys, during this time, I have taken time out of the business because they've been shut. I've taken time out of it, and I have reevaluated, taken stock of where we are. We've looked at it and we've said, wow, guys, the place of where we were right now, this isn't going to work. We need to do something different, and it needs to be a challenge and a change of who we are to be able to get us through and for us to grow and for us to develop. Guys, if we choose to stay where we are, we will only get what we've only got. And now is the time to be able for us to develop and to grow and to get onto something that we've never been. To go somewhere where we've never been and to grow like we've never grown before. But we can only do that if we stop, listen to the rhythm, listen to the sound that is around us. And when we get that sound, when we get that rhythm, when we hear the beat, we're not jumping before it, we're not running behind it, but actually we're being silent in the time that we need. We're taking stock. Wow. We're taking stock, we're stopping, and we're listening in this place where we are. Seeing from a different level. Point number 2. I'll just wait for it to pop up on the screen for you because I really want you to see this. Point number 2 is increasing the tempo. Increasing the tempo is something that happens in music. It increases the music. The music can speed up as it is meant to do. And in brass bands and wind bands and all those different kinds, we often see that thing happens. And we think, wow, how do you do that? You speed up, you slow down. And why? Because there is a conductor conducting what happens in front. I want to say tonight, guys, the tempo that is in your life. See, when God says, they shall run and not be weary, what God is saying there is, I am going to increase the tempo of your life. I am going to be the person that drives you forward to take you on a journey. It is not going to be this. It's not going to be the place where it's going to be paused and stopped, but it's going to be on a journey. And by the way, get ready, strap yourself in, because the bus driver is all of a sudden going to take you on a journey that's going to take you from out of the bus and into a racing car. And as he goes into that racing car, he's going to take you on a much faster journey than you've ever been before. But because you've been in the waiting room, you're prepared for what is to come. You cannot jump from a bus to a racing car without being prepared. You cannot do that. And tonight I want to say to you, God is ready for you because you've been in the waiting room, waiting on him, waiting for his direction for your life. In that waiting room, things have happened that has changed you. See, God wants us to run. But man, he's shouting out really loudly there, you will not be weary. You will not grow faint. You will not pull back. It is exciting times to know what is happening. It is exciting times to know that we're going through a process. And in the waiting room, we have gained strength. We have gained stability. We have gained support because where we're going is exciting. Point number 3. They shall walk and not faint. We shall walk and not faint. Now, this is really exciting for me. Because keeping constant can be maybe the hardest thing. Keeping constant. This isn't about jumping in a fast car. This isn't about getting there as fast as we possibly can. This is actually about God saying, listen, it is the constant tread that you run every day means I'm going to be with you. I've got your back. I've got every part of you, and I'm carrying you because of the constant stuff that you do. But yet in the constantness, there is growth. In the continuation of being constant, there are things that are around you. You've taken a pause. You've taken you just stopped. You've listened to what other people have said maybe, and you've listened to what God is saying. And God is saying, I just want to give you the tools to get ready for what is to come. I want you to be ready, but I want you to be constant. I want you to be the people that I've called you to be. Resting can take time and space, but coming out of it, you will gain strength and stability like you've never, ever seen. In that waiting room, you will be ready and prepared for the journey that is to come. And that journey is going to go faster. It's going to go slower. It is going to even stop at times. But it's whilst you're in that waiting room, please don't think that you've been rejected or God's forgotten you or you've been put on the sideline. The time for stopping is a time for growth. The time for stopping is a time for you to go to another level. The time for stopping is a time for you to reevaluate, take stock of where you go, and for you to get ready to go on that journey. We're going to jump into a short clip right now, but I'm going to be back in a few moments.
Here's a tough question. Have you ever felt completely alone? Utterly and completely alone? I know I have. In fact, I spent the first 24 years of my life having very frequent times where I felt utterly alone. Not sure if anyone truly cared about who I was, what I did, or where I was going. And then at the age of 24, some amazing things happened to me. I had a very good friend of mine that told me that there was a God that existed in this universe. Now, I didn't grow up in the church. I had no background with the Bible, no idea really what he was talking about, but I had felt alone. I had gone through some challenges at the time, and I decided, you know what? I'm just going to listen to what he has to say. And he began to talk to me about the reality of God, and not only that there's a God out there, but that God, the creator of the universe, if he was out there, he wanted to know me personally. He then went on to tell me, as he kind of walked through this story in the Bible, that although I'd sinned, right, we needed to understand that he wanted to tell me that the wages, the Bible says the payment for sin is death. And that was a little scary. I asked him what that meant. He was telling me that was a separation from God for all eternity. So if he was there, the payment for this sin, these decisions I've made in life, this sin in myself, was this eternal separation from God. And so he just finished telling me God loved me and then told me that the sin was keeping me from my relationship with him. But that sentence goes on to say, the wages or payment of sin is death, but, and this is where the big shift happened for me, but the free gift of God is eternal life through Jesus. In that one act of dying on the cross and then following that up with raising from the dead 3 days later, he took away the pain of sin, penalty of sin, and the sting of death in everyone's life who would call on his name. And that's what the Bible goes on to say. My friend told me this, that if you'll profess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, right? He's the ruler of your life, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, the Bible says you'll be saved. And what does that mean? It's simply this, that you'll be in a right relationship with God again. That eternal separation that you found yourself in only moments ago before this video started, you have an opportunity to come into a relationship with God right now. God's waiting to hear your voice, for you to say, God, I don't know you, but I want to know you. And I believe that Jesus died for me personally, because he did. And I want to start a relationship with you today. Here's my prayer. That's exactly what you do.
Okay, so as we've just watched that amazing video, there was a truth behind it. And I just want to maybe challenge us tonight that the time that we've had the time that we've gone through, the break that we've had. I've said tonight that a time for rest equals a time for growth. And it's a time for looking at things from a different perspective. It's been a time for being able to maybe change the rhythm of life, to go a bit faster. And at times just to tread and to continue on the same beat that we've had. But tonight, I want you to be challenged by this. Know this, that there is a God who absolutely loves you. And know this, that in a world that is just absolutely crazy, where there seems to be no order, where there seems to be everything that's just crashing down around us, I want to say tonight, there is order, and there's a God that absolutely made this world perfect. And that God wants a relationship with you and for me tonight. And the soundbite that I want to encourage you tonight is this. What have you done during the resting season? Have you been able to take stock and to look at where you are? Have you been able to take time out and to reevaluate where you are? Have you been able to look at the rhythm of your life and to say, I am ready for the new chapter? I want us to be challenged. I want us to go away from this tonight knowing that you are loved, that you are passionately, intricately made, and that God knows every single bit about you. Every single bit. Even the bits that we don't like, maybe the great hair that we have, he knows that. And maybe the bald head, he knows that. And maybe the bits on the side, because things don't look as they used to look, he knows all that too. But guys, he loves you the way you are. And he loves you for you being you. And he loves you because you are you and that you can make a difference. That's the difference. And I'm ready tonight to say, guys, you can have a relationship with the creator of this earth. You can do that so easily. And all you need to do is just pray exactly where you are, in your home, and just say, God, come into my life. I'm sorry for what I've done, but I want to change. And in this time that we're in, I want you to change my perspective. Give me a new vision. Give me a new insight into where we're going. Give me a heart that wants to make a difference. Give me a heart that wants to reach out to others across the globe, across the country. Just the same as Elim missions have done by raising money for helping people all around the world. Maybe there's things that we need to have changed and because our hearts are hardened. But tonight, God can make that difference in your life just by simply praying a prayer. If you've prayed a prayer tonight just by saying, God, come into my life, change me, simply this. Send us a direct message. I'd love to meet you. Yes, it will be a meeting on Zoom. Yes, it'll be a chat online. But I would love to meet you, and we can still meet up. We totally believe, guys, as always, that the best is yet to come. But we're just going to finish and close tonight with a blessing. And the blessing is this.
The Lord bless you and keep you.
Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you.
The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you.
Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you
and give you peace. be gracious to you. Lord, turn His face toward you
and give me peace.
His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May His presence go before you.